Hi, I'm Anne Lewis, a Stamping Up demonstrator based on the Sunshine Coast here in Queensland, Australia. I teach card making and scrapbooking, and I love sharing my passion with you. Thanks so much for joining us today. In this step-by-step video, I will be sharing some of my favourite techniques, tips and tricks to make your card making even more fun. Each of the products featured today are available from my online store, which the link I think is in the description. I might have to update that later. But it is AnneLewis.stampingup.net. What makes these projects probably even better for you is that you can use your own, your own stamps, inks, papers, cardstock to make your own version of these cards. Let me know where you're watching from and which of these cards you actually like. If you enjoyed the live stream, please let me know by liking my live and sharing it with your crafty friends. If you want to see more, subscribe to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel. Now, I'll just show you. Now, what I'm showcasing, and now I've hidden it a little bit on my desk. I still, to be honest, I have not yet got my desk under control. Well, all my craft room. Oh, here it is. Sorry for scratching around. But I'm going to be showcasing this stamp here. Now, this was a stamp set that I received it on stage, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I think it was on stage from Stamping Up. And as soon as I got it, I was pretty excited because all of a sudden I had all these ideas running through my head of techniques that I could use with this stamp set. Now, when I decided to use this stamp set earlier today, I forgot that I didn't have reinkers for the new ink colours. So that was a bit of a darn moment. But as always, as you know, or as you can imagine, I have a lot of stuff in my stash. So I changed up the projects and came up with some different techniques. So let's go. These are the three cards I will be showcasing today. Hi, Gail. Hi, Glenda. So I'll start off with this one. Look, they're simple cards, but as you see, they each turn out differently. And I think you'll be a little surprised how I've actually done these. So I'll just bring my stamp set back in. And so I've got my card base, which I've cut. So I kept it square because I wanted to use this little die cut, and I'll show you where that comes from. So my card is 8 inches by 4 inches. So it makes a square card. Now, you don't see me do too many square cards because I try and keep my cards to a standard card size to make it easy for you. But this one definitely needed, and something's already walked in my, oh no, here it is, a square card to make this card using a little die cut like this. Now I'll show you where the die cut comes from one of my favourite sets, and you've seen me talk about this a fair bit. It's called the Frames and Flowers 12 by 12 Specialty Designer Series paper, and there's only 6 sheets, so it's not like every other, well, just about most of our other 12 by 12s, which have 12 sheets. This one only has 6 because it's got 2 sheets of die cuts. And mine are falling a little bit apart because I've pulled them. Actually, it's got 3 sheets of die cuts, I forgot. But the die cuts are gorgeous. And there's so many ways you can layer them. I kept it so simple because I wanted to show you that this is a pretty simple. So there's two die cuts like that, plus there's these little tags, if I can show you. So it comes with a little, well, what I would call tags. You could do anything, use them as layers or whatever. So I've just popped out another one of those dies, and already it's got stuck here somewhere. So I had it right here. Oh, here it is. So this time I've gone for a round one. But if I just stick it on there, you can see it doesn't look, let's be honest, it doesn't look that special. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to stamp a background, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this subtle background that I've put on this Lost Lagoon cardstock. I'm hoping you can see that. Hi Glenda, hi Marianne. So I've got the two Glendas. Glenda loves this DSP. I do as well. So I'm going to get my large background stamp, which is the Leaf Collection. Now I've put it on an F block, which is the right size. Now you may not have an F block. So what else could you use? If you've got a Stamparatus, the plates from the Stamparatus work really, really well for this. There's normally a workaround, and to be honest, at the worst, if you don't have one of the large blocks and you don't think you'd use it enough, I use mine a fair bit, is you can actually put it down like this and put your cardstock, just so that, pretend that, and put that on there, and then I would actually get my tweezers and pick it up to remove it. So there's a few ways around it. Now I've shifted everything so it's not straight. We'll straighten it up a little bit. I'll put this back on the block. And I see I've just got a few little hairs on there. It's super clingy. Now I'm going to get some of the Versamark ink. Now you hear me refer to this as Versamark ink, but really if you look at the actual name of it, it's the Versamark Watermark Stamp Pad. And we're going to use it wholly and solely as a watermark this time. So I will ink it up. Now I have to actually do a bit of pressing on this with a Versamark ink pad. Just tapping it nice and light is not going to put enough ink on it. So I am pressing, not so much tapping, but making sure there's no lines or anything on any of the major stamps, because as you can see, it's quite solid. So see where I've got the shiny, I've applied the ink. So just always check with Versamark that you've got it everywhere. There's no, I don't know, blank spots. Now my cardstock is a lot smaller than actually the stamp. Now the stamp is quite large, and I can't remember the size of it. It's got a little edge around it, 4 1/4 by just over 5 1/2. So it kills this. So I want to pick which part of this I like the best. So I'm going to put it actually in, well, as close as I can to the center. So now I did something by mistake here before. I stuck an insert thinking I was putting the insert in here, but I didn't. I put it in here. We can work around this, I'm sure. So I'm just going to turn this over, hi Madeline, and stamp it down. Give it a little bit of time, walk my fingers around it, give it a little bit of time for that ink to transfer. As you see how easy this card is. Now, I don't know that I can find my tweezers in here at the moment. Oh, sorry, you always hear that noise, don't you? So I'm just going to pick this up. I'll put that out of the way. And now you can see how gorgeous that finish is. Now, I don't have to do anything else to that. That's the finish. So it's a very subtle finish, and it's basically a tone on tone. And I like it better than even using or in this case, the Lost Lagoon ink pad. This is a lot more subtle. So now, where's my little... So all I have to do now is add this, and I'm going to add a stamp. I've got a simple stamp here I used, and I very rarely do sympathy cards, and I thought it was about time I did one. And this, because it is so subtle, I'm looking for my Lost Lagoon ink pad, which has warped, unfortunately. It's in another box. So this stamp set comes from Loveliest as a Tree. So it's from the annual catalogue. And it's just sending heartfelt sympathy. And I like the sentiment in this. So this is such a quick card, but it has a bit of a wow. So I'm starting on the simplest card possible. And I'll just put this in the center, pop it down. There. Now, I did get, as I said, my craft room isn't as organised as I'd like it to be. But I did grab these little pearls, but I thought maybe I could make these pearls Lost Lagoon and tie it in with the stamp set a little better. So I'm just grabbing a blend and making these, adding some Lost Lagoon to it to give that little bit of colour. There we go. I don't want it too dark. I only picked the light blend. I've done the 3. Now these are just, what were they? Iridescent Pearls Basic. I'm pretty sure they've even retired. But I want to use up, oh, one of those fell off, sticking back over there. I'm going to just line up here, which is the center one. So about there. Then I can just place the other ones on either side. This just fills in a little bit of white space and makes it adds a little bit of bling. And we all know you need a bit of bling. So this is really simple. I'm just about out of this. Have enough here. Look, a dimensional. Oh, not, yeah, dimensionals. So how's everybody going? For those who have been following me over the last over the last week, I am looking at finally getting a cat again. Well, I'm getting one. I'm not going to get 2 like I had before. So today I went cat toy shopping, because tomorrow I think if it's a good match, I will pick up my new putty cat. So I might post a photo, hopefully. Who's brought a new putty cat home lately? Does anyone know? Any hints for me? I haven't had a young cat in my house for 20 years, because the last 2, they were getting pretty old, and I got them as kittens. This one's a little older. They don't know how old because it's a rescue cat. But yeah, so any tips you've got for me? So I'll just add this here. So card 1 done. How simple was that? And look how gorgeous it is. Love, love, love these, because they're so simple. And I'm just going to clear up a little bit here. Just put my paper away. Otherwise it's going to come out and go everywhere. Now this paper, as you see, it's got little die cuts everywhere. This paper is on page 29 of the annual catalogue. And I think it's going to be one of those that I'm going to use a lot, especially when I'm looking for something simple. So I'm going to grab my ink pad and clean it up because it's got the Versamark ink on it. And we're going to go ahead to card 2. Now card 2, I've added a few layers to it, but really it's a really simple card as well. I've added some layers just to step it up a bit, and I'm using one of our new ink colours, Shy Shamrock. I wanted a green. Now I've done a fair bit of the work on this, wholly and solely, because the techniques I'm showing you is using the background stamp, not necessarily how to actually make a card. I've got lots of other projects that do that. So I've got my card base here. They're very quick and keep you on your toes. Your kitty is gorgeous. Thank you. Thank you, the two Glenders. So my card base is 8 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 in Shy Shamrock. And then I have 2 layers of white. Now my first layer is, I've just got to be careful with this. So my first layer is this, which is basic white. So I've added another layer. So you'll actually see what adding another layer will do to the design. And I'm thinking it's going to make it pop even more. So this piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then I have just a random piece, just a larger piece than what I need, and you'll understand the reason why I've done that. I'm going to get my large stamp again. And this time I'm going to ink it up with Shy Shamrock. Now these ink pads are brand new, so they've hardly been used because, as you know, I haven't been crafting. I've been away, and then I came back and have been trying to get over jet lag, which I am finally over. And then I've moved into finding a cat stage. So there we go. As you see, there's a lot of ink on here. So I'm hoping that you will see how much ink there. And that's just because it's so juicy. But I do see I've got a bit of a problem here. I've got an edge. I think that's about right. That's better. Now this will come out pretty dark. Now these ink pads with all this ink on are going to, you know me, I hate getting my ink, my grid paper all messy. So I've got some scrap paper here. Now all I have to do is make sure I get this somewhere in the center. I'm not really that careful about it, and my sheet of paper is a little bigger than it needs to be because quite often you get a bit of a messy edge. So I'm giving this plenty of time for the ink to soak in, and it will change colour. I probably should have given that a little longer, but that's okay. So I'll get rid of this. So there's my background. Now that will change colour a little bit, but as you see along this edge, I'm not sure you can see that, it's a little messy, so I'm going to trim that down, and I'm going to trim it back. Grab my trimmer. I'm going to trim it back to 3 3/4, and I decide this is I could do both sides, but this is the one that didn't come out as well. So I just take that off. And depending on the size of this that you cut this, originally. You might have a little piece that you could decorate the inside of the card. Now both of these ends are looking pretty good. So I'm cutting this down to, what did I say, 3 3/4 and 5 1/8. So here we go. Now remember, not a lot of this card is actually going to be showing. So why is that? Why is that not fitting? Let's check my cut down measurements. And I might just have to cut another piece yet. So 5 1/8. And righty, I've got that the right size, but I haven't got this piece. I've done these round. I'm going to need a bigger piece, so I'll just grab some basic white. I have to go to my stash. I don't think I've got any on my desk. No, I don't. This is, oops, I'm going to actually open a new pack. I do go through lots of basic white. Now, I'll just open this up. I think still somewhere in my cupboard I've got some Whisper white. So let's cut down. Oops, sorry. I'm going to do this at 5 1/4. By 3 7/8. Hopefully I've got this right. So yeah, so now it just pops up and I think it looks a little better. What do you think? Let me know whether you like the little white layer. So I'll glue this down. And as I told you on, for those who watched Friday's live with Christine Josty, can't remember what we did now, but I said that Australia Post sent back one of my popped up cards. It wasn't really popped up a lot, and said it wouldn't sort and therefore they weren't going to send it. And they wouldn't do it manually. So I'm trying to take down some of my card layers that might go overseas. So, not that this one's going to go overseas, but you never ever know. Okay. So there we go. Now, then I just have added another layer. So this piece here is, where's my little ruler? My fabulous ruler is 3 1/2 inches. Oh, I've got it on the back here, by 2 1/8, and I've run it through the embossing and embossed it using the quatrefoil tile, which is an online exclusive, I'm pretty sure. And so I'm just doing this really simple. I wanted to show that you can then combine your stamps, your embossing folders. You don't have to keep to all the same story and keep it plain. And I felt that in this colour in particular, it was a bit bright. It needed to be dropped down. And then I used a die that just seems to match this cardstock, and I'll pop it out. I've already die cut it out, as you see. It comes from the stamp set here somewhere. It comes from the Friends for Life dies. It's a really simple die cut, but it's so useful. And I added some, makes a bit of a mess. I added some adhesive sheets behind it to make this job really easy. I didn't think I had any adhesive sheets. I found some stashed away. I was desperate. So here's here it is here. So I wanted just to add a little extra layer. I'm going to make this really easy. The adhesive sheets will just peel off, hopefully. Some of mine are so old. So this makes it really simple. Love the white layer, it makes the pattern pop. Yeah, I think that's it. Sometimes you've got to make a card to actually and put it together, and then you go, oh, I wish I had have done something different. So that's where making a second card works quite well. So I like having this little simple die here. But I've made a bit of an error. Well, design issue that I may have to work around. So I'll pop this up. I got any dimensionals left on here? Use 2 sheets tonight. Anyway, I will always have some extras somewhere. Let's see. Oh, they're little ones. We've got any big ones? Little ones. Little ones. Right out. Well, we might have to use some mini ones. That'll be okay. I like the idea. Sometimes you've just got to add a few more layers to give it that richness that you want it to be. Now, I had some ribbon that might match this. Well, I didn't use it in the first one. We'll see if we're going to use it in this one. Where's my ribbon? Just cut a little piece. I love this ribbon. Do I have a little bit of sticking out? I think I do. I'll add some glue dots to this. Stick it down. So I know a few of you have had cats before. And I know a few of you love dogs. I love dogs too, but I've always been a cat person. So I'm just adding some glue dots to stick this under. I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. Got a few glue dots here. So I'm making a little banner, and I will stick him under here so there's just a little tag showing, except I've got him on the wrong side. I want him on this side. I might trim him up. I know. So then I can pop him up. Put him like that. Now, my little problem, it's not a big problem, is I wanted to put happy birthday there, but as you see, whoops, it's not actually going to fit. So I'm going to do something a little different. Sometimes you've got to change up your original plan. And where's the stamp set? Here. So I might just put miss you. I might do a miss you one down the bottom here. Where's miss you down here? Now, I haven't used this stamp before. Hopefully that I don't lose that. Oops. Right. Normally I'd clean this up. So let's just stamp off. Where's my scrap piece of paper? I know. Oh, it stamps lovely. Sometimes I do need to be cleaned up a little bit. can't put it on there, so I've got to put it on this little piece here. Pop it up. Use my big scissors and cut it down. Whoops. You didn't see that, did you? It's one of those things that happen, doesn't it? I don't think we're going to see it. Kind of. I haven't cut that very well. So I'm just going to pop that up. And then that card is finished as well. So just a really simple background. Now, there's so many other techniques I would use with this stamp set, but I just thought I'd do ones that I haven't done, let alone for a while. So there we go, I miss you. So it's a different card. I've added the ribbon, and I'm not going to do anything else to that. Bring it down a little bit so that you can see. So I'll put that one aside. And I've got the last card, which is a little stepped up. I had an insert for that, but I'll do that afterwards. But this time I'm using, just grabbing my ink pads that are spread across my desk, Lost Lagoon, one of the new ink colours, Peach Pie, and also Petal Pink. And to be honest, I was inspired, not that it actually uses these colours, but I was inspired by this paper to use these colours. So it does have Lost Lagoon and Petal Pink, but this uses Pumpkin Pie, and that was a little strong for the finish that I actually wanted. So now, I'll just get rid of this. You should see me in action with ink. Now here's my base. Now I've got to clean up my stamp again. I've got a shimmy here to take off most of that ink. Now whilst I just do this, I do have, if you are look what's happened here. If you are local to the Sunshine Coast, I am doing Christmas in July class on the last Sunday of July. And I've now got this all over my hands. Hence why I wear black pants. Now I'm just looking for my, go here. I'll clean this up. Sorry about all the green ink on my hands. Maybe that's part of the fun. Of doing crafting. Now, I didn't show you when I said about the adhesive sheets. They come like this. So this is going back to the previous card and how I did that die cut. They come in strips, so you can cut them down, and then that's your sticky side, and it just makes it really, really simple. There's instructions on the website that show where you purchase these, how to use them. Okay, so now I'm obviously going to turn that sheet over, and we'll start with a clean sheet. And this time I'm going to do a completely different technique. I really don't even know that it's got a name. I'm going to be using the Petal Pink. Now there's so many different ways you can get this same effect. I've gone for the quick and easy way. So just using the Petal Pink and putting a base over everything. So I know that there is at least colour on all those leaves. Get rid of the Petal Pink. And I've got another ink pad here. Oh, not an ink pad, block. And you'll understand the reason why. Just going to use some of the peach, what is it? Peach Pie on this end. This is just so I don't make my ink pads muddy by combining too many colours on them. So I've got Lost Lagoon on one end, I've got Peach Pie on the other, and I have two little sponge daubers. Now what I have discovered, and I don't think I bought, look at my hands, sponge daubers for about 7 years. And they've started to perish, which should be no surprise to me, but they don't look great, and they leave a different finish on them. But if they were brand new, it'd be a really smooth finish. I'm just showing you the card. Let's move that over. So that's the card I'm making. So at the moment, I've got a layer of Petal Pink. Then using my Lost Lagoon dauber, I'm just picking up some ink from my block. I could easily do it off my ink pad, but you'll see what happens. It does pick up a bit of stray ink. So I'm just going down the center of my leaves here. Now, if I'm concerned that it's got picked up too much color, I just stamp off a bit on a scrap piece of paper. Now, the Lost Lagoon isn't so bad because it's darker than everything else. The Peach Pie, you can see there's no skill in this. This is something anyone could do with daubers. And as I said, there's lots of different ways you can do this technique. This is the one I've chosen tonight. So all I'm doing is down the center stems. And as I said, this will turn out differently every time you do it. There we go. Then I'm using the Peach Pie, this dauber. And it had picked up a bit of colour. This one is, you see how it's gone very flat, and that's because it's perished. But they last a fair while. It's just that I've had mine so long, and I'll order some new ones. I should have been using them a bit more than I have been. They probably would have survived. So I'm just going around adding that colour. You'll see it's really simple. There's no great artwork to this. I know, I've used up all that ink. I was just about to throw that out because I'll have to throw it out. Then we're going to turn this over onto my... I'll try and line it up. I can't see above it. I'll get... It's a big block, so I will walk my fingers around. Now, I used to actually apply keep the block upside down, and I'll show you in a second. But I've stopped doing that, and I don't really know why. So there we go. I used to go like that and then put paper over it. For some unknown reason, I don't do that anymore. So how nice does that turn out? And it kind of looks a little like velvet. Now, I've cut my paper. I use a big sheet, so I don't need all of this, so I need to trim it down. And if I look at my card, I'm going to go to 5 1/8. So actually I want to take a little bit off both ends just to tidy up those edges, because the edges are the ones that don't come up so nice. Sometimes they do, but not this time. Oh, I could have used, well, no, I couldn't. And so I don't know which side, because I want this down to 3 3/4. I'll take a little bit off this side, just a little bit, and then turn it around and then cut to 3 3/4. Now, so they're the colours, and I was originally going to do I'll show you what I was originally going to do. So I was going to do a Lost Lagoon card base and a petal pink layer. But I got to that and I went, I think I can do better. So I've gone for black. Now, when you're trying to make something pop, black is perfect. So I'll just fold this up and I'll adhere it down. And you tell me whether you like the black. There's the black. Or did you like the Lost Lagoon? Which one do you like the best? I'm going to keep with the black because it's my favourite, but you might like, because everybody likes something different. We're not all the same, thank goodness. I'm just using the multi-purpose adhesive. And I'm keeping this flat. Love the black. So both LL. Oh, Lost Lagoon for Glenda Small. Here we go. I know. So I'm keeping this fairly flat. The only thing I will pop up is the sentiment. Now, for exactly the same reason, if I went Lost Lagoon, I'd have to change this strategy up. Looks like I've used lots of glue there, but really I haven't. There's a fine bead, not what I always do. So I get to decide which way I like this. This one I'll turn around. So I've got it going opposite to the first card. I haven't got to put that on centered very well. It's always a challenge when when I can't get above it to see it. Right, there we go. And I have already done an embossed black little sentiment. So excited for you. Now I would probably put a happy birthday or something on here. And I'm going to use, which is something you don't see me use very often, mainly because I keep forgetting about them, so I'm going to use some of our black dimensionals, which when you buy black dimensionals, they come both in the large size and the minis. So I've kept all the cards are simple, like a simple design, a basic design, but it's the technique that does the wow factor in these. I have all these little white pieces all over the floor, I think. Now, let me know, do you like it up the top, in the middle, or where I had it on the first one? So you're going to have to be quick because I know there's a delay here between when I'm talking and when you actually see it is about, a good 30 seconds. So it always is a little confusing. So where would you put it? Top, you can say top left, top right, center. So up there, right, left, center, right, left, or bottom. Or would you actually make it? How about we make it, how about we make it so Glenda's a middle, but I might make this a landscape card, which is always, this is what I mean, we shouldn't do lots of profile cards, but I also like landscape. So Glenda likes it there. Let's put it there. Nobody else has commented, I don't think. Nope, no other comments. So Glenda, thank you very much, and I will put it there. So they're my 3 cards, and as you see, they've each turned out a little different. Now I'm just going to go and find my cards that are spread from one end of the room to the other. So there's my cards that I've done today. So you can see they're a little different. Everything turns out differently. And I've just got to find that 8x8 card. Maybe it's in here. It is. So the 8x8 card. So which is your favourite card? If I number this 1, 2, or 3, which one would having trouble here? Which one would be your favourite? Bottom right. Julie's a bottom right. So which one would be your favourite card? So don't worry about the sentiments necessarily, but maybe instead of the favourite card, your favourite technique, which one do you think you'll have a go at? So Glenda Small. Rightio, I'm counting that as one, like the different versions. So I'm confused, says Glenda. So many options. I do like the black and I like the green without the white edge. See, that's what I mean. We change things up, but sometimes I think we overthink it and we don't necessarily I think we overthink card making all the time. So the favourite technique, it seems, is this technique. And you saw how easy it was. And all I needed was some ink pads and also a sponge dauber. Now, I used a background stamp for this, but you could just use a large stamp. You wouldn't even need to have a background stamp. You could use a flower stamp or anything for this technique. So I think there's basically a vote for technique number 1. Yep, everyone's going for this one here. And I think it is my favourite, and I left it to last. This is the easiest, and you can see why. This is tone on tone, which I do like those cards, and that's a very bright colour. I could have changed up the colour, but it's nice to introduce you to some of the new colours. So thank you very much. Don't forget to like this video if you have enjoyed the techniques tonight. Share this video with your friends if you've got some crafty friends who might be interested. And thanks so much for joining us. I've had a fabulous night as always, and I'll be back next week with another I don't know, technique. It might be fancy folds. But it just does tell you can do simple cards. Don't necessarily have to have all the bangs and whistles to go with it, and just use what you've actually got. So thanks, everybody. Good night. Have a great week. And next week, it will be mayhem here. There'll be probably a pussycat on the crafting table directing what's happening. Either that, or there'll be a pussycat locked outside making a terrible noise. Bye for now.